Hello, everybody, and welcome to Psychopinion. Before we get started today, I wanted to talk about some really exciting things we have going on with the show, which is obviously now, if you're listening to us on Spotify, we're on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, hey, check us out on Spotify. It might be easier to listen to us while you're driving or maybe at work or just not doing anything else. Another exciting thing I wanted to put out there is that I will be putting our old shows from YouTube on Spotify, so you have a chance to listen to a lot of the old shows. I would recommend that you stop by YouTube to check out the episode called Pectolis Lights, as well as the episode called Ghost Actual Paranormal Evidence, because those two shows, as Rob and Steve can attest, are very visual episodes. So you're not going to get the same feel off of those that you would just listening. So yeah, I mean, feel free to like, comment, follow, check us out on Spotify, check us out on YouTube. We're leveling up tonight with our intro, and we're just going to be, coming with new stuff all the time. So, stay listening, stay on. And also, our dear friend Rob has agreed that once we get 100 followers, he's going to show you all his tits. So we've got that to look forward to.
Y'all are ready.
Yeah, he's ready. As soon as we get 100, man, those tits are coming out. So besides that, it is Valentine's Day, or technically we are a little late, which I hope those of you who have enjoyed Valentine's Day are not late if you don't want to be, but we are. We're a day late recording here. So we're going to be discussing some of the amazing relationships, sarcastically speaking, throughout horror. And at that point, you know what I wanted to talk about for just a second, because I really don't put that on, like, I guess it's a stalker movie, but My Bloody Valentine is probably the most common Valentine Day movie. Does anybody have anything to say about that?
I barely remember that movie.
Really?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I remember he was like a minor, and I remember there was a lot of scenes that had like a lot of Valentine's Day decorations and Valentine's Day cards with like weird shit written in them.
Okay, but we might be thinking about two different movies. I don't think that was My Bloody Valentine. I think that was like something else.
Well, the minor part should
the minor part is definitely right.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Well, my opinion
Didn't they have a 3D version of it? With like weird 3D cinematics and whatnot? Where it's
it was My Bloody Valentine's Day. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I don't have a 3D TV, so I don't know why the fuck they make those. How many people have 3D TVs? Anybody?
It's a gimmick.
Not me.
I mean, we're all huge movie fans here, and none of us have a fucking 3D. Anyway, so
I have a question.
Do it.
Are you talking about My Bloody Valentine, the original, or the remake?
Okay, so that's what I was going to bring up. Is that one thing I was going to bring up is that there is a remake. The original, I was talking about either one. I just want to see if y'all had an opinion about it, because it's kind of one of the more popular Valentine's Day movies.
Yeah.
Horror movies, that is. Obviously, it's not the most popular, like, romantic movie. But the point is that I just rewatched My Bloody Valentine, and it had the guy from fucking talked about the other guy the other day, and
Supernatural?
Yeah, fucking A. Jen's on top of it tonight. So it's got the older brother. What's his name?
Jensen Ackles, I think, maybe.
Okay, cool. We got his real name.
It.
So that guy is in My Bloody Valentine, and I don't know about you guys, but it is like, I will never see him as anything besides the character in Supernatural. Like, I literally felt like I was watching him as the character in Supernatural in a different fucking movie.
Like it was a really long episode of Supernatural.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like, because I don't know if that guy is just like one note. Like, I've heard a lot of people saying that he does other stuff, and he's, he's pretty cool and stuff, but
I felt like in
The Boys.
He is Batman in a few things. I've seen him in a few other things.
You say he's Batman in a few things?
Yeah, he does the voice for the newer DC releases, like the animated movies.
Oh, okay.
Didn't know that.
He's also been doing Supernatural for the last 37 years, so he doesn't have a whole lot of time to be in too much.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the fuck I thought when I saw My Bloody Valentine. And besides that, I would say that from what I remember, I think I like the original more, but obviously we are ill prepared on that movie, so we'll move on. So let's go with stalker movies. I actually just last night, because I was thinking about the show today, rewatched Fear. You guys remember that? Mark Wahlberg was like 19 or something in that.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've seen that one.
You never seen Fear with Reese Witherspoon?
No, that's not ringing a bell.
There's like that.
It's amazing, like a first time I'm hearing about it. It feels like,
dude, like every teenage boy loved that scene where he was like playing with her on the fucking roller coaster. Yeah, obviously girls liked it too. I see
girls saw it. I remember fear.com, but I don't remember Fear.
Well, a long time ago, there's this movie Fear, and it had Mark Wahlberg in it, and he was like stalking Reese Witherspoon. And I also want to add that, anyway, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought there, which is terrible for. So Mark Wahlberg is he meets Reese Witherspoon or whatever, and they really like each other, and he ends up doing all this crazy shit. Like he steals a bracelet from her that says Daddy's Girl and puts David's Girl, and he scratches it out. He's like fucking with her dad and like basically being threatening to like the family and shit. And her dad sees it the whole time, but she doesn't. And so point is that he ends up carving her name into his chest, and it's great because he does. I think her name was Nicole, and he does for Eva, and I just love that because it's just such corny ass Mark Wahlberg when he was younger.
It's like very 90s.
Very 90s, but I will say Alyssa Milano was in that movie, and it was she was looking fucking phenomenal. That was a very good Alyssa Milano. So anyway, here's what I'm getting at. Since the boys don't remember this movie, thank you, Jen, for watching some of the same movies as me, because it makes it more enjoyable for us to talk about them. Like, what woman wouldn't want Mark Wahlberg to be stalking them, or that kind of situation? But it usually ends up being some dirty fucking smelly dude from behind a dumpster, like the guy in fucking Mulholland Drive.
Oh God! God!
So the point is that I just thought that was kind of interesting, because I was thinking like all of these stalking movies have like the most beautiful people in them, and it's like I'm kind of sitting here like none of those scenarios are really that bad. I mean, sounds fucked up. I know some people are gonna be like, that's fucked up, and I get that, but I mean, like, you think about Disclosure. I mean, Demi Moore can stalk me. I'm just saying. Anyway, somebody save me here. What do you guys got? Fucking Steve, you talk all the goddamn
I'm
time.
I'm dying to hear from the Valentine group down here. I've not watched a whole lot of Valentine horror. I've got to admit. So
well, they're not Valentine horror. I decided to go with stalking horror because I thought it was kind of ironic. So I mean, anything related to stalking.
It is.
You prepare for the show like shit, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Have you stalked anybody lately?
It's not something I usually partake in.
Jen, you've been stalking anybody?
No. I'm too polite to stalk anyone.
Too polite?
Yeah. I'm too I understand that, people want their privacy, and I would never go to somebody's house and look in their window or, follow them home from work or whatever. That I'm way too polite for that.
You wouldn't want to invade the privacy.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's something. How about you, Steve? You mind invading people's privacy? Fucking say something, you quiet bitch.
No, I'm just taking this in because I talk too much typically.
Yeah, I know, but usually
all other facets of life. So I'm enjoying hearing this. I'm also getting video calls and work things blowing me up right now too. So I'm trying to focus on the here and now.
That makes me excited.
I know. But yeah, I'm having a hard time putting a finger on anything memorable.
All right, so I got here for stalking: Fear, Obsessed, Crush, Swim Fan, Roommate, Boy Next Door, Fatal Attraction, Closures. Anybody have anything to say about any of those?
That's a long list you have there.
Stalker movies aren't really my thing.
I'm the only one here that likes stalker movies. That really makes
supernatural.
This makes me feel like such a creep that
stalker.
I'm the biggest creep in the world here because I'm the only one that likes stalker movies. All right, so let's move on because I feel like, that's not good. another ironic part here, and this is really interesting too, actually, when I get to this. But I was looking up because I always found these to be really interesting, and I also thought for Halloween that there'd be kind of a kick to talk about that. So movies involving kind of like the STD thing. There's been a few movies that have come out recently with that, and one really famous older one. But I was thinking about like It Follows. To me, I think that that's like a great movie and really kind of embodies, in my opinion, like artistically, kind of like the STD thing. Have you guys seen It Follows?
Yes.
I have seen it.
Fucking A. Let's go. Rob, you got it? Son of a bitch.
I have not. Yeah.
All right. I need.
All right.
Well, Rob,
Let's get a girl's perspective first.
Oh, okay. I mean, should I like talk a little bit about the movie first?
Yeah. Like, what do you think of it?
Oh, I liked it. I like the music. It's kind of got like a synth wave thing going on, which I always like. It's weird because I remember when I watched it, I was like, is this supposed to be in the 70s or 80s? Because it almost had that feel to it because of the way they're like dressed and like the decor is kind of like that.
That's funny. I was thinking the 90s.
Yeah. Okay. 90s. Yeah. And then like this girl in the movie, she like pops out with like this thing that looks kind of like a little clamshell compact, and she's like reading a book on it, and I was like, oh, maybe it's modern, because that's kind of like modern technology. And I was like, I guess they just were going for that like visual feel of older.
Yeah, it could also be that the old stuff is coming back. People are really getting into the vintage, which these days.
Retro and yeah.
I mean, we're fucking old. These days, the 90s shit is vintage. I mean,
right.
You put on the oldies and you got good old Eddie Vedder up there, Nirvana.
Yeah.
I think that, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I liked the visuals, like the shots that they did. So yeah, I did like it. I thought the themes were very interesting. Do you want me to go through like the themes?
I mean, if you'd like, yeah. I mean, share whatever you'd like to share about it. If we finally hit something that somebody's seen besides me.
Well, I remember like when I first watched it, I was like immediately like, oh, that's about STDs. Like sexually transmitted diseases. Like from the get-go, I was like, well, it's pretty obvious. But I remember I was so curious about it though that I like read up on it like right after I watched it. And it was like talking about like it's really like the fear of death.
Really?
Like that was one person's opinion. It's just a theory. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know for sure.
That movie to me was like straight up 100% STD.
Right.
Like that's all I thought about.
But see, that's the thing I liked about it is because it like gets you like kind of thinking, oh, all the different like things that it could be about. So there was a little bit of controversy about that. There's like the fear of growing up too. And I did rewatch it because I hadn't watched it since it came out.
Okay.
I rewatched it today.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, the fear of growing up. Like I kind of get that now, like rewatching it.
Okay.
So,
well, I also want to say thank you for actually watching a movie that I mentioned that we might discuss. So that's great.
Yeah, I wanted it fresh in my mind because I haven't seen it since it came out.
There you go. Well, it's not fresh in my mind, unfortunately.
Y'all didn't do your homework.
No.
I have been doing my homework all week. And of course, in It Follows, everybody talks about, because there's always those scenes that everybody discusses are like the scariest things of all time. And in It Follows, there's that part with the big guy, the really big guy.
Yeah, he's really tall.
Yeah, that was pretty creepy. I would agree. I don't know if it's like would hit my top 10, but it was pretty creepy.
Scary.
But yeah, that movie really like I thought was super interesting. I thought a lot about it. Sometimes a little bit silly and others. First of all, I think that particular thing is made for women. Like women could get rid of that thing so much easier than a guy could. Like we got to sit there on Tinder and all that shit and get a date and all that. Women can just walk in any bar and be like, hey, I mean, it is what it is. Women have all the power. But I was thinking about that shit and I was like, you know what I'd fucking do? I would like literally just go broke, like bankrupt on plane tickets. And I would fly from like country to country over oceans and just plant that seed everywhere so that this thing would, like, by the time it finds me, I'm like 80 and I don't give a fuck anyway. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was really interesting, and I almost want to expand. I almost wish that they would expand on that movie a little bit more, because, like, what would happen if, like, you had sex with somebody in England and then flew back? Like, is this thing gonna, like, get like a ticket for a boat ride across the Atlantic, or a plane ticket? I mean, it's kind of, I don't know what the actual intelligence of this thing is.
I don't know. I would assume that just one would appear, because it's supposed to be kind of like, well, I read something anyway about it. It's supposed to be kind of like, it's supposed to look like somebody that you know.
Yeah. Not always,
but
though.
Like, yeah. For the girl, it was.
She knew that big motherfucker.
We know that.
Who's that guy?
I don't know about that guy. But all the other ones were people that she knew.
He was a little Steve looking.
A little what?
He was a little Steve looking.
Steve looking? He looked like Steve?
A little bit.
Steve.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. I think I'm going to have to rewatch it with the ideas that you're talking about, but I don't agree with you on just appearing, because that was the whole premise, was that they, like, could outrun it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they couldn't outrun it, but I mean, you could, like, leave the fucker at the beach and then, drive to a motel 2 hours away, and you had, you could take a nap.
But where do they come from?
They switch. Really, they go from person to person, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, you can't go from a person in England to a person in, like, Massachusetts. I mean, that'd be weird. That's like, Steve, come on, jump in here. You've seen this movie.
I have, and I saw it when it first came out, and it wasn't my cup of tea. Remind me if this is the one I'm thinking about. All I can picture is somebody looking out of a school window and seeing somebody across the street. That's the one we're talking about, right?
Yeah, that happened.
I have very little recollection of that movie, and once again, it's just
it was an old lady.
It was an old lady. There you go.
Her grandmother.
Yeah, just like with Rob. I mean, I typically don't watch movies that I don't think are going to hit me the right way, and that was one of the ones that I think I watched for my daughter's sake, which is strange saying that in hindsight, but one that she requested I watch, and I wasn't into it too much.
Oh.
Okay. So since I guess we pretty much covered that, have you guys seen? I already know you fucking haven't. Have you seen Contracted? Anybody?
Nope. I have.
Nope.
Okay.
We talked about it.
Jen, you know what? Fuck these guys. This is a me and Jen show tonight, because these guys are fucking goddamn.
Well, the only reason I watched it is because you told me that I should. So,
because you know what? I'm gonna jump the gun. I'm gonna jump the gun to the end of the show and say that I recommend that you watch Contracted, especially you, Rob, and you, Steve, so that we can have a conversation. Okay. This is the most exciting Valentine's Day show so far, guys. You got to get in here. I know you got something. You know what I was thinking though, also, and this is kind of a side note, but a little bit back to the stalking video. Have you guys ever thought about the fact that, like, I feel like stalking, like a man stalking a woman, I feel like fucking like 80 years ago, that shit was cute.
What?
No, you don't remember, like, okay, so, like, let's go even further back, like Edgar Allan Poe, fucking even Shakespeare and stuff. Like, back in the day, the romanticists would talk about, giving locks of hair and blood and all this, maybe even a fucking finger or something to their truly beloved. And at one point in time, that was kind of a romantic gesture. So I'm saying, like, 80 years ago, if you think about it, like our grandparents or great grandparents, there's always that story where it's like, he pursued me and, I didn't want to go out with him, and he just kept asking me, and finally I said yes. And then we got married and we had fucking, kids and grandkids, and we fucking died in the same bed together and shit, but it's like, it's almost like this cute fucking story. But if that were to happen today, like, I literally see on Facebook and shit all the time, like, women being like, hey, if she says no, like, leave her the fuck alone and don't ever talk to her again, and it's like, I get it. I understand people don't want to be bothered and shit. But I also think it's interesting when you go back and think about, like, our grandparents and how they actually, like, courted each other and pursued each other. And, it was kind of like a sign of affection and that you really like somebody.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of things in the past that are no longer, I guess, up to snuff or up to code, at least in the minds of the youth nowadays. I know my grandmother was a mother at 14, I believe, which
Wow.
is insanely early.
Yeah.
But at the same time, 60 years ago, 14, 15 years old was a different ballgame. It still seems awkward, looking at it now, but I see 25-year-olds that more than likely don't have the mental acuity that maybe a 15-year-old would have back then.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about from an emotion and a relationship standpoint. I just mean having your shit together, and growing up the right way. But I think something that I was actually thinking about a lot as I was working today, Jake, and on the road, a lot with some time to think, but not to watch movies.
That's a shame.
I'm just saying. I know. I thought about The Walking Dead,
Okay.
and I thought about that classic scene where somebody gets turned into hamburger. We all know who that is, right? Glenn. So
Yep.
Oh yeah.
when that happened, if you have seen The Walking Dead, which if you haven't, we'll remove the rock from on top of you. That scene right there was one of those scenes that broke your heart.
Yeah.
At least everybody I knew, including myself, it broke your heart. And you think about that, you've seen actions like that in the past in horror movies, probably a dozen times over, even more malicious than that to people that maybe you don't so much care about. And the emotional attachment or that relationship that you grew to have with a certain character over a certain period of time watching either a movie or a TV series. I was thinking about that a lot, like the relationship between a viewer and the actor, and how important that is in a lot of movies, horror as well, where if 50 people get mowed down in the street in a horror movie, it's not as jarring or difficult to view than if it's a scene in a kid's bedroom and you've already set the scene with their parents are struggling and the mom is working two jobs, and you've kind of built a relationship with those characters, and then that thing happens to somebody. It just has so much more weight. And I thought about the lack of that in a lot of horror movies that I've seen, and also the presence of that in a lot of movies that I've seen. So I kind of had a strange little moment while I was driving where I was just thinking about things like that. But I wonder what you guys think about that.
No, I think that's really interesting, because actually there's a topic that I was going to bring up later, but I was kind of thinking about, I don't want to keep saying that word, but like the sexual assault revenge movies. I don't know if you guys have seen I Spit on Your Grave. I don't know if you've seen Last House on the Left. Now, I've had this debate with a lot of people, and of course,
can add in High Tension to that list.
High Tension, of course, yeah, that was a really good one. If you haven't seen High Tension, check that shit out. But I've had this conversation with a lot of people where they're like, that shit is just for shock value and it's unnecessary. And we all know what scenes I'm talking about, the ones that are kind of drawn out, and it's really shows the kind of worst part of humanity and sexual assault. I'm curious as to, first I wanted to ask you guys, do you feel like that is put in there strictly to be shocking and strictly to just kind of, have that shock value, if you will? I wouldn't say it's gore, but that, just for the sake of it.
Well, I'll jump at that one.
Go ahead.
It depends on the movie. Sometimes movies can do it for shock value. For a perfect example, the movie Irreversible. It's a French movie. I think the director is Gaspar Noé. I'm not sure of his name. But it does have one of those scenes, and it is probably the most disturbing movie I've ever seen. So yes, it definitely is in there for shock value. It depends on how it's done, because if it's done properly, as I said, that's the most disturbing movie I've ever seen. and it is in fact irreversible, I cannot unwatch that.
I remember you trying to get me to watch it, and you said that, and I was kind of like, I've got a couple movies I'm scarred from, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to go down that road.
That one will definitely scar.
I was trying to make you watch Eraserhead.
So yeah, it really just depends. It sets up a lot for the movie. It can be a good like backstory to what's happening. A lot of like the revenge movies do have scenes like that. But if it can be done poorly and it can be done fantastically. It really just depends on which movie does it and how it pulls it off, I would say. Doesn't have to be one or the other.
Going back to the relationship side of things between the viewer and the person on the screen, to have a shock value of what we're talking about now in various different applications is one thing. To have that same shock value, but also have a tether between the viewer and the person that's happening to. Once again, if it's a character that's in the movie for 2 minutes and dead before you get to grow to know who they are and formulate a decision if you like that character or not, there's really no sting to that death or that dismemberment or being sawn in half or whatever it is. But when you've followed through and grown to either like or hate that person that you're watching, and then it happens to you, it carries so much more weight. And only some movies that I've seen have really truly been able to do that. And I'm sure there's a lot of other methods within horror movie making that kind of those do's and don'ts, if you will, when you're trying to produce a movie like that you've got like this holy grail of different things that you're trying to all come into play at the same time to give that moment much more meaning than what any individual circumstance that's being dealt with in that moment has on its own. Once again, part of that whole mind thing that was going on in my head earlier today, just trying to reach out and think about things like that.
And that's why I was thinking about this, and I kind of skipping around a little bit here in my agenda. But Jen, do you have any opinions about that? Do you think it's kind of shocking, or do you think it's necessary?
What, like the shock value type stuff?
Yeah, like the major sexual assault scenes, they, kind of, do you have any opinion on that?
I do think that they're necessary. I mean, something has to jolt somebody into feeling something.
Well, we've also seen those movies though where they imply.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't hit as strongly.
Yeah.
Have you guys noticed that when
what he was saying, you have to build up the character too. You have to really care about that person. If you don't, then what's the point? It's just.
I think that's totally fair. Steve, what were you about to say?
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but how often have you seen those shocking moments in a movie where it's actually been in line with something that has a tremendous storyline or a good character growth as well, versus just a cheap thrill in the moment or in the movie? What would you say the percentages of something like that?
Yeah, I see your point.
See, I personally think that it is necessary, and I'll explain why. Because I'm an artist. I also paint, and I like to create things. And I think that when a movie's no different. We all have our canvas. Some people make movies. Some people paint pictures. Some people, create music, et cetera, and so on. And I think that if you're creating a movie and you really want to create a personal touch or value, like Steve said, I think it's absolutely necessary. And when I watch a movie like I Spit on Your Grave, it is an excessive assault in that scene, and it does go on for a while. It's very detailed. It's very they don't leave too much out. But when it comes to the end and she's doing her thing, and first of all, I love how the revenge really kind of fits each one of the individuals that attacked her. I thought that was brilliant. But at the end, I'm rooting for that woman so hard. I'm so invested in her revenge and her getting that I don't think I would have that if it was implied, or if it was or if I didn't really it's almost like the point is to watch it until you're disgusted, and you're supposed to be disgusted because you want to hate those guys. You want those guys to be killed in the most painful way possible. And then when she comes back and gets her revenge, I mean, it's very satisfying to me. And I think that, creatively or artistically, if that's what the director was doing, which I believe it is, I think that it was spot on. But I wanted to get you guys' opinions because I've had people be like, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. That's, it's just there for shock value and this and that. And I can see how people would think that, but I mean, I don't know, looking at it from an artistic perspective or even from a human perspective, like Steve was saying, I think it's kind of necessary. So,
I mean, I'll agree with that. It just kind of depends on the specific movie. Because, as you said, some movies, it just implies it. And I mean, I can't even think of a movie right now because usually that leads to the movie being very forgettable.
yeah.
But when it does show it, and it actually has, enough story to build upon that going into it or after the fact, it makes it that much more poignant, that much more hurtful. Like it just kind of tears you apart, and then you feel that much more for the actual characters and makes it, more poignant. Just depends on how they pull it off.
Very well put, Rob. Very well put.
Yeah.
Moving on to a more happy topic, let's get back to STDs. So Contracted, if you haven't seen it, in my opinion, and I don't know, I'd like to hear Jen's opinion because she's the only other one that watched it. But in my opinion, I think Contracted is probably one of the better movies I've seen. I just really enjoyed it. And it's funny because it was a very simple movie. I mean, I think I could have made that movie with like 10 grand. I don't know what they spent on it, but it was a very simple movie. There wasn't a lot of special effects. There wasn't a lot of, big things going on. But it was, in my opinion, honestly, it was probably one of the better body horrors, in my opinion, that I've seen since like The Fly. I just watching this woman. Because we do have the spoilers here and we put that spoiler alert up, I'll just go ahead and say this woman, she's a lesbian, and her and her partner are kind of having a falling out, and she goes to a party, and she ends up, I believe, being drugged by this man, and he ends up sleeping with her in his car, and she wakes up the next day, and basically, like, she just kind of starts, like, falling apart very slowly, and it's really well done because as I'm watching it, every time something else happens with her, my reaction is like, oh, Jesus, like, what the fuck, man? That sucks. And then it ends up all coming down to this great scene where this guy that's been digging on her the whole time, she finally gives him a chance, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe Jen could chime in on that. I don't really remember why. But she gives this guy a chance, and then all of a sudden, he's having sex with her, and maggots are falling out and onto the floor, and basically just, I mean, I would say the image to me is like, you should get this rotten hamburger or something down there, and this guy's, doing his thing, and she is basically rotted out from that orifice at that point in time, and it was quite disgusting. And it's funny because I was reading a thing where the woman who played the main character, the director was like, are you sure you want to do this? Because there'll probably be nobody that'll ever want to have sex with you again after they watch this. So I would say it's worth a watch. I'm not really going to give away the end. I'll leave that, there's a little bit of something on the bone there. But it's a fantastic movie, and it does lead up to a very good premise at the end. And I think they could do, I mean, honestly, I think they could do so much more with sequels kind of coming from the way that they did that. And it was really cool. Jen, not only what is your opinion, but why did you sleep with that guy? I don't really remember what was going on. No, why'd you sleep with the guy? And you had the maggots. No, the woman in the movie, what happened there? Because right now I'm actually I can't remember. Like, why, how'd they end up sleeping together?
Well, I mean, he liked her for a long time. Like, he had the hots for her for the whole movie and probably beyond in the past.
Hopefully not beyond in the future. Hopefully.
Well, so, I mean, he already, like, had a big boner for her.
Yeah.
what I was interested in is why is he not at least smelling or getting some sense that something is wrong with her? I know it was dark in the room, but why would he still want to have sex with her if, I mean, I would imagine like her smell would probably be like, I don't know, like hot garbage or something's dying, you know, like something fucking dead down there.
It smells a lot like the girls farting in fucking Conjuring. That rotten meat stench. Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like hygiene is definitely important in sexual situations, and I feel like if you've got that kind of odor going on, I mean, I remember this one time when I was a lot younger. I was in this room, and my friend was hooking up with this girl, and just it was kind of a situation like that. And we all left, not to give them privacy, but because it was pretty unbearable. So, in that instance, I could say that
you can't cover everything up with patchouli.
No, and in a sexual situation like that, I definitely I feel like I'm looking for weird scents and weird sensations and things like that myself, because that's kind of important. This is what we're talking about.
I'm just watching this ball roll downhill and get bigger and bigger as it goes.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with me. That's a problem with me talking too long, because I end up going in directions that, somebody just needs to stop me. But yeah, Jen, what did you think of that movie overall? I honestly would rate that movie very highly. I don't know if you felt the same.
I mean, I thought it was really well done, especially for being like kind of low budget. I mean, I've seen lower budget movies, but
absolutely,
this one, yeah. And like some of the acting was good. Like I thought the main girl did well. I thought the mother did well. We don't see much of the mother, but I thought she did a good job.
Yeah.
And I mean, even like, the special effects, I mean, I know mostly it was just like on her mouth, she had like those crazy sores.
Yeah.
And then, and her eyes were like fucked. Sorry. They were like really red.
Yeah. And then white.
And what?
Didn't they like milk over?
Oh, I think they did like later. Yeah. But at first they were like really red. And then there was the amount of blood that came out of her. It was like an excessive period.
Yeah, I mean, they must have used real maggots. That must have been weird.
Oh yeah, towards the end, yeah. It looked like real maggots.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the. So like in that movie, she shows up at work and she's like looking all fucked up, and like
people I would immediately be like, go home.
Yeah, but people are like, go home, and then just kind of act like that's kind of normal. Like, not that it's normal, but they like nobody's like I'd be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I would call 911 whether she wanted me to or not. Like, I'd be like, that shit is not right.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. Let's move on to something the boys can talk about here. Jesus, just fucking looking at Steve here, and one of the redeeming qualities about Steve is that sometimes he's saying something intelligent, and now I'm just not even getting.
It's either something intelligent or nothing at all, apparently.
Yeah,
that's right, baby.
So apparently so.
All or nothing.
I was just looking at Rob the whole time you were talking and wondering what is going to make Rob change his mind to watch this now after everything that you stated. And I'm kind of thinking that I've got no reason or need to watch it, but maybe I will.
I left out some details. It's good. It's good. Yeah. There's definitely.
I can only think of some of the details that you stated that I'm not.
Yeah, but dude, it's like a train wreck though. Like, you want to see it. Trust me. It's like a car accident. Like, you're gonna rubberneck, man. You're gonna want to see it.
I don't know. For any type of STD movie, I was kind of ruined by the movie Kids.
Yeah.
In the mid '90s, like that movie just hurt me when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And I don't really have much of a. Yeah, that movie's just hurts you. It leaves an impression. It's kind of like a Requiem for the Dream type feel, but yeah, I haven't really delved into that specific type of movie since then. So,
yeah, that was terrible.
And that
was that girl that was in that movie too. I just realized that she was the one that was in like Big Love and everything later on.
Yeah, Chloe.
Yeah,
Chloe.
Yeah.
70 or something like that. Savini, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's her name. That movie was terrible.
That one part, that one part back in the day, that really did tear me up.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Steve, we'll leave
Everybody
you a lot
knows
of meat
what
on
part
bone,
we're talking about.
except for Steve. Quiet Steve.
If you've seen the movie,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Have you seen Shivers, Steve?
Shivers?
Ooh. Isn't that a Cronenberg movie?
Yes.
It is.
I don't know. I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of movies that I probably wouldn't be able to name unless you told me something about it. But I
Okay.
don't recall.
Well, that movie straight up is like this dude created an STD, and it's in the form of basically what I could describe as like a New York strip covered in ketchup is kind of what it reminded me of. And it's really weird.
Because like I thought that it kind of looked like a mutilated penis.
Really? Well, I
Yeah.
guess we see what we want to, but I saw a New York strip, you saw a penis.
You walk down the New York Strip, you'll see a mutilated penis more than likely sooner or later. So,
but this thing kept going inside of people, like any orifice it can get in, basically, and it pretty much just like made people crazy. And yeah, Jen, take over here because this is one of your favorite movies.
I never said it was one of my favorites.
I remember you saying it's one of your favorite movies because you like the mutilated penis.
No. It's by one of my favorite directors, but it's like one of his. It might actually be his first film that he ever did. It's definitely one of the earliest.
Did you say first or worst?
First, I think
Okay.
it was maybe one of his first. Or it
It's
might
like
have been
late
his
70s,
first.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
He didn't
Definitely
really
dated.
like get big until the 80s, as everyone knows. But I definitely wouldn't say it's my favorite. It's not on the list. I have a very long list of favorites. It's not on there.
Oh shit.
But I think he got better. He got better in the 80s. He did some awesome work in the 80s. Some of my favorite movies are by him. But the only thing that I can remember about Shivers, other than the mutilated penis thing, and like I think I remember like some weird, almost rapey kind of scene, like at the beginning, where somebody's like dressed as a little schoolgirl.
Oh, yep, yeah.
Yeah. And then
I
I do remember a really kind of a cool scene at the end. I mean, I don't want to give a spoiler though. But there is kind of.
Ain't nobody gonna watch that movie, darling.
That's probably true.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love horror, and you kind of recommended that one.
It's dated, yeah.
You recommended that one to me, and I watched it, and I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
like, it was a little hard to get through all the way.
It was topical. Like, it's about STDs, really.
Yeah, and it definitely was. But I mean, it was like about halfway through, I was pretty much just like, yeah, I'm gonna keep watching this because I feel like I have to now. Like, I bought the thing and I'm invested.
Yeah,
so.
it's not one of his best.
Do you not want to watch things about detachable zombie penises or anything?
Dude, it was like a New York strip, man. It was like
doesn't want that.
There's some trauma movies like that. You know, Trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, like Attack of the Killer Condom and
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Trauma.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Trauma.
That's some quality shit right there.
Protecting you from those STDs. Yeah, just killer condoms though. So
yeah. But those are just funny. To me, they're just funny.
Trauma movies are fantastic. You do have to kind of be a Trauma fan to enjoy them. But no, they're pretty fantastic.
They're like more like a movie that you would watch with like a group of friends to make fun of, kind of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, next time we all get together, I guess I know what we're doing.
Oh, we should watch Poultry. We should watch
New York Strips.
Poltergeist. I haven't seen Poltergeist yet.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
You haven't seen Poltergeist?
No, Poultrygeist.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to say it really clearly.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Poultry heist or Poltergeist?
It's
Poultry?
like chicken, like fried chicken.
I know, but is it a heist or a geist?
Geist.
Geist, gotcha.
like poltergeist, and then there's Poultrygeist.
I think I heard of poultry heist too, but okay.
I think you made that up.
My mind went to this old episode of the Beetlejuice cartoon. I think there was like a Poultrygeist in that. There was a chicken that was dead that used to follow him around. Pretty sure I'm probably the only person that's seen that shit though.
That show was fantastic back in the day.
Good. You saw the Beetlejuice cartoon? I love that shit.
Yeah.
It's my jam. It's like weird. I feel like Steve has seen every movie in the world, but hasn't seen any of these.
I think he's probably seen like all the more cerebral films.
Yeah. One of these nights, we'll just let Steve pick all of the movies we talk about.
That's right.
Just listen to his beautiful voice serenade us about.
I'm taking it in.
So I went to IMDb and I typed in STD horror, right? Brought up a list for me, and this is kind of interesting because there's a few on here that I would almost be interested to see how you could connect that to an STD horror. So we have It Follows and Contracted, which we talked about. Shivers, we talked about. Rosemary's Baby is on this list. And I don't see that as an STD because it's really just it was a devil impregnation. So it's like, I mean, it was giving birth to the devil and STD. I mean, it's a little confusing.
I mean, a baby sticks with you forever. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were thinking,
but not the same way herpes does.
No, it's the far-fetched call right there. I don't.
That's interesting.
They were trying to pad that list. You know,
I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess so. And some of the ones I haven't even heard of on here, but I'm interested once I get a little further down the list, like two more, because so I know y'all are big fans. So there's Demon Seed, which I've never heard of, but then there was they put the Fly and the Fly 2 up there.
Huh?
The Fly and the Fly 2 as STD horror, which I think they were confusing it as body horror, maybe because
I
mean, the Fly 2 it was the baby of the fly, right? You know, and
yeah.
But I mean, when are we saying babies are STDs now? Is that what IMDb is implying?
They need new writers. I don't know.
There's some angry guy at IMDb who hates his kids. He's like, every fucking movie that ever had a kid in it.
Got to pay that damn child support.
I feel like that is sexually transmitted, but they're leaving out the disease part. I don't think children are a disease.
Well, are they the disease or are they the sexually transmitted? I mean, maybe we're onto something here. They are sexually transmitted.
Yes.
Most people I know that have kids have sex to have those kids.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Most of them.
Not all.
Right.
Not all of them. Okay.
True.
There's occasionally the what is that? The immaculate conceptions and things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So the next one after the Fly is Prometheus, Rob.
That I don't think it's not a sexually transmitted disease. It's like it starts off and he's got that little petri dish that he ingests to infect the planet.
But did he sexually infect the planet?
Yes.
Yeah,
he infected
sex with
her,
the planet's water
obviously.
supply. And now it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
I'm going like on the ship itself when maybe we're talking about the same scene, but the fact that she's impregnated with an alien of some sort, then I could,
baby alien,
twice the disease.
Yeah.
No, but you're right.
Not quite the same.
They're infected, or I guess when they're infected by the goo. And then there's okay, I got you.
Okay, so there's goo. So you really like that, Jen?
What, the goo? Yeah.
Yeah, there's the goo. So you really like that?
That's my thing.
Now every time I see goo in a movie, I think of you. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I'm like, hey, look at that disgusting slimy shit. What's Jen doing? I don't know if that's really very flattering. So, and then the list goes on. iZombie, Lace Carter, Terminal Virus, What Lies Below. I've never seen any of those. So, I don't know. Beyond me at this point with those there. So, anyway. What else? Pretty much what I got for STD movies, and nobody's ever seen a stalker movie besides me, which I'm probably need to talk to a therapist about. You guys really have me questioning myself here, because I'm like, what are you talking about? I've seen all these movies 100 times, and obviously
they make a lot of them. It's just,
I mean, somebody else has got to be watching them. I mean, I can't be the only one if they keep making them. Just saying, but
I feel like I've seen stalker movies. I just can't think of any that like pop in my head right now. It's not one of my like favorite genres. So.
I have really weird taste in what I consider horror movies. I consider stalker movies horror movies. I think if there's anything, I kind of feel like if you could put yourself in the situation of the character in a movie and you're like, I would be absolutely fucking freaked out, then it's a horror movie. with that being said, I actually was stalked at one point in my life. If you guys would like to hear about this, it's pretty interesting. So I've had a personal experience. Okay. I probably won't share the end of the story right now because it's got a little fucked up. But anyway, the point is, so I'm working and I meet this girl and seems like she'd be a good friend, kind of friend zoned right away, not really my type and all that, but she works her way into our little friend group and stuff. And at the time my car broke down. So she was like, give me a ride back and forth to work and stuff like that. And we kind of all became friends and it was a good time and shit. And then, I had a friend who was an asshole, so he was kind of gassing her up, like, oh, talk to Jake, even though he knew how I felt, just to be a fucking clown. Anyway, long story short, she ended up not being at that job anymore, and I lived in like where I would walk down the stairs. There's a little alleyway out to the town, and it just so happened that about probably twice a week, she would just happen to be walking through there when I'd leave my house. And, first this is a coincidence, but isn't that a little fucking weird? She doesn't live there. She's like, oh, I just happen to be in town. But it's like, when she gets to like the sixth time, it's kind of like, are you just hanging out here? Like, and she'd call my house every day after work. She'd call my house to see if I wanted to hang out. And I was always like, oh my God, you called like right as I walked in the door. Well, one day I was sick and sat at home, and she actually started about an hour before I was supposed to be home. And just called and called and called and called and called and called until I picked up. So I was never really afraid for my life. I was never really like, oh, this girl is going to kill me. But I mean, just the awkwardness and kind of like, what the fuck do you do in that situation is really intense. Because I mean, like, it's just really weird having somebody that is just around all the time. And, you're starting to notice all these things. And, I don't know. It's kind of a fucked up situation, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah,
it sounds.
It's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. But Steve, you're a pretty good-looking guy. You ever have any stalkers?
I'm evidently not stalkable.
You're not stalkable.
Nor have I. I don't believe I've ever stalked anybody either. So I think I might be out on this one.
I don't think I've ever stalked anybody either. It's sad that I had to think about that. I don't know how long you were thinking about that, but I thought about it for a second, and I don't think that I've stalked either. Rob, have you been stalked or have you stalked? Stalk or be stalked.
That's
you guys
not really something I can think that's happened to me. I mean, there was after that time I did that camping trip out to Crystal Lake that Jason Voorhees guy was following me around quite a bit.
I can see that.
Yeah, no. Aside from that, nothing really.
Well, at least he didn't put you in a sleeping bag and fucking set you on fire, and that was like one of the best deaths ever. But,
that series has some pretty good ones.
Yeah, okay. So I was actually just looking down, and I've got this list here of different kinds of horror, and we actually have horror romance, which the examples here are Honeymoon, which I've never seen, and Let the Right One In.
Yep. Well,
Let the Right
One In.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was definitely a good one. Oh, it's interesting.
And if you're looking for love in horror movies, it's all over the place. I mean, you have movies like Ginger Snaps, where
I love that movie.
And there's a lot of love between the two werewolves, which is a very
Ginger Snaps
weird...
about werewolves.
Have you not seen Ginger Snaps?
I feel like I have, but I feel like it might have been one of those like 15 years ago drunk movies I might have seen.
It's old enough to be 15 years ago, but it's. I feel like that's one of the quintessential werewolf movies. I mean, for me, it's like American Werewolf in London, and then like Ginger Snaps, and then like maybe The Wolfman. There's not a lot of good werewolf movies, and when they are good, it's just so few and far between. But yeah, no.
Silver Bullet, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's my all-time favorite. But that is one of my first horror movies too. So
yeah,
I would say that's probably one of my top werewolf movies. Ironically enough, I don't think I've ever really been into werewolves like that. However, Dracula, now there was a romantic motherfucker. Saying that guy was all about the romance. For
sure.
Yeah.
He was good for it. But
what would you guys say is the other genre that pairs the most with horror? Would it be comedy, kind of the next thing up there, or is it more action?
What do you mean is the next thing up?
Like as far as the quantity of movies that are made in a year, let's say, that are horror movies, how many of them are comedy horror versus like comedy actor or horror action? You just spoke about the romance side.
It's hard to say because honestly, I think that it comes in waves. Like I feel like one year there'll be like, or within like 3 years or something, it'll be like a shitload of zombie movies, and then like, you know, a couple years later, it might be like everybody's talking about apocalypse or you know, a different kind of apocalypse, not the zombies, but and then you know, I mean, there's definitely some really good comedy horrors out there.
Yeah.
Actually, the other night I watched one. It's not as good as I remembered, but it's still. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Ed and His Dead Mother. It's actually a really old Steve Buscemi movie.
Oh, no. I think I saw that, but it was like maybe the 90s.
Yeah, no, it's way back. Like Steve Buscemi was pretty young in it. I want to say it was in his first few years acting. But anyway, yeah, like he brings his mother back from the dead and she's not the same. Now she wants to like eat people and shit. And just so happens he meets this girl at the same time he brings his mother back and it becomes very inconvenient. But it's that was a really good movie. I don't know. I mean,
that reminds me of a movie called Dead Alive. Like that premise is like very similar. Dead Alive is one of my favorite movies.
Oh yes, I think that was Peter Jackson's first movie. Weirdly enough,
but was it his first? No,
I think it was. But that is probably one of the only comedy horror movies that I absolutely love. Normally, the comedy horror doesn't hit me that well. I don't care much for them. Aside
Zombieland,
from
bitch. Boom. Don't tell me you don't like Zombieland, dude.
Woody Harrelson Zombieland's really good.
And the second one is just as fucking good.
And then, you know, Drag Me to Hell is
well, Raimi always throws in a good amount of comedy. And I think he does a really good job of it still being he's probably
like
the best
perfect amount to me.
Yeah, he's like the best at it still being a horror movie. Like it's still a horror movie, but they've got those funny moments, I think. Sam Raimi is like genius with that.
Yeah.
Usually involves like spitting gooey shit in each other's mouths or vomiting shit, stuff like that. But you'd love it, Jen, if you haven't seen it.
I have seen it.
Drag Me to Hell. That I just watched that the other night, and I thought of you also when the old lady spewed the fucking green shit.
I'm so glad that makes you think of me.
I don't know, man. Now you're
happy.
You're like the slimy, gooey chick, you know? What about you, Steve-O? You got a good comedy there?
Oh, boy. You know, I was thinking of one, and I think it's Zombieland. Our Batista we were talking about the other day. He's one of the main characters in it, and it is a zombie movie. It opens up with them tearing through like a casino, but I forget the name of the movie. But
that's one of the Day of the Dead ones. It's Vault of the Dead or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's it. They're trying to go back into the casino to take money out. They're figuring, hey, there's all that money there. So, but that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, it was good and it was funny.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I definitely got one.
I mean, I think it's interesting they're trying to get money in a zombie apocalypse because I would feel like at that point it's pretty useless.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they had a plan. I would imagine that. I don't know. You're better off with water and ammo at that point, if you ask me. But maybe breaking into a armory or something might do more for you. Everybody's thought about this before. Where's your go-to place that you would lock you and your family in during the zombie apocalypse? Anybody?
I mean, I have a friend that has a father that's like really into guns. And he has like a lot of them and a lot of other weapons. And we always joke around that, like, if a zombie apocalypse does occur, that we're going to go to his house.
Okay, cool. So you guys kind of got like a ranch thing going on there, like
yeah, they have like a farm,
like Herschel's in The Walking Dead.
It is kind of like that, yeah.
A lot of people always like go with like Walmart and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you go to like a box store, and some of them have like the metal gates that come down to block the front entrance. So
that's good.
And doors that you can't open from the outside without a key. So those are not bad calls. You got a bunch of food in there.
Yeah, I mean they did pretty good in the mall.
Bags, pillows.
They got sleeping bags.
And you always get that idiot that goes out for a cigarette out back and leaves the door cracked open with a brick, and then one zombie gets in.
That's why you go on the roof.
People. Yeah.
Why are you going outside to fucking smoke in a mall? Like, you can literally just be like, hey, I'm going to go to Nike and have a smoke. Like, who gives a fuck? Like,
how else is the zombie going to get in to kill everybody else?
Well, I mean, you could just use a Jordan as an ashtray. I mean, fuck it, Using these nice pair of Jordans from my ashes. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, it doesn't move the plot very far, but I'm just saying, like, who the fuck you being considerate of in the apocalypse, I mean... The guy down at the fucking slushy stand isn't going to smell you smoking a cigarette all the way up in fucking Beanie Baby Town.
Yeah. Secondhand smoke would be like the least of your worries.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about that if I had a zombie trying to eat my ass.
Yeah, but that seems to happen in all these movies. Somebody does something so stupid to set a chain of events in order.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it's not going to be me. I'm going to go ahead and call that right now because I don't want to be that guy. The last little bit of life we have left, we're going to be fucking pissed off at me. I don't want that shit. What's that? You did it? You're going to be the one?
Why I vape.
Well, I mean, besides, I'd probably run out of cigarettes in about 2 seconds. I don't think most malls have a store that sells cigarettes, do they? They might have that little, some malls might have that little like bodega shop. I don't know.
You're saying that you'd lock yourself into a tobacco emporium.
I mean, I'd rather fucking have food and shit, but I mean, if that's the route we got to go, then it is what it is, But anyway, I hope everybody has like felt the love in this episode. Steve's been awkwardly quiet. You okay, Steve?
I am. I've gotten a lot of things come across my screen.
I have never seen you so quiet. You're usually like, I got to shut you up.
No, I'm good.
Or is Valentine's Day bumming you out? You need a hug?
Yeah, I could use one.
You need a Valentine? I mean, I'm open.
I'm good.
Yeah, okay. Well, fuck you then. Anyway. How's things going in the retail world, Rob? Was Valentine's Day fucking crazy? Was there any sales, any deals?
It wasn't anything special. I mean, the Valentine's candy all sold.
Nice.
Which there's always leftover holiday candy, but not this time.
They showed the fuck.
I guess everyone's buying. I mean, there was, of course, a little bit, but not much. It's nothing too spectacular, though.
It's all those guys last minute fucking running in to grab whatever the fuck is left for their girlfriend because they didn't give a shit about them until they got out of work at 8 o'clock on Valentine's Day and wanted some ass. Like, fuck, man, if I go home empty-handed, I'm going to be sleeping on the couch. I better go grab this fucking small little thing of nerds and a fucking half-blown-up balloon.
Sounds about right.
I mean,
I was not working on Valentine's Day, so I don't know how crazy it got, but for the rest of the week or two prior, it was just normal.
Just normal. Yeah, fucking Valentine's Day isn't that big of a deal. It's more of a fucking Hallmark holiday, really, I think.
Yeah.
Well, when you've been married as long as I have too, you can get away with not bringing that bag of nerds home.
When you've been married for a while?
When you've been married a while, you don't have to do that stuff anymore. I
thought you're supposed to keep the spice alive, man.
It has nothing to do with a bag of candy.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and I got this joke from Sopranos I really like that you just reminded me of. And I'm going to go ahead and change it up a little bit because it's a Christmas joke, but I'm going to make a Valentine's Day joke. So there's this rich guy and this poor guy, and they're talking about what they got their wives for Valentine's Day, right? And the poor guy's like, "What'd you get your wife for Valentine's Day?" And the rich guy's like, "Well, I got her a brand new Mercedes and a diamond ring." He's like, "Well, why'd you get her, both of those things?" He's like, "Well, I figured if she didn't like the diamond ring, she could return it in the brand new Mercedes, and she'd still be happy." And the poor guy's like, "Okay, that makes sense." The rich guy's like, "What'd you get your wife?" He says, "The poor guy," and the poor guy's like, "Well, I got her a pair of slippers and a dildo." And the rich guy says, "Really? Why'd you get her both of those things?" And he's like, "Well, I figured if she didn't like the slippers, she'd go fuck herself."
Yeah, it's a good one.
That's kind of the vibe I feel like Steve's going for here. Pair of slippers and a dildo. You don't like it, go fuck. I'm just saying it sounds about right. So we've hit our hour. And of course I'm gonna want you guys to recommend a movie. This time I also want to say happy Valentine's Day to all of our listeners and viewers, and thank you for being there, and hopefully we'll get some more out of Steve next time. I think Jen was just shaking. Were you just bouncing?
I know. I'm sorry. I hit the table with my knee.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, so happy Valentine's Day, people. I hope yours was lovely. Like I said at the beginning of the show, in case you didn't hear, we are going to be putting some of our older episodes from Psychopinion up here on Spotify. I'm very excited about that because I really like to, kind of occasionally listen to some of the old episodes and just kind of see how we've grown and where we started and everything. It'd be a lot easier just to throw it on in my car as I'm driving along and kind of not really have to worry about the whole, YouTube screen thing and all that. So check it out. And then, like I said, we also have two amazing episodes, probably two of my favorite episodes actually, that are going to stay on YouTube. I'm not sure we're going to post those because they're just very visual. And that's the Pectolis Lights episode and the Ghost Actual Paranormal Footage. And I think it's called Actual Paranormal Evidence, but it should be called Footage actually, now that I think about it, because that would really be a lot more fun for that episode.
It's
what I mean?
A little bit on point. Yeah. Not the point that you would think, but yeah, it's on point.
So to give you a little bit about that, Steve actually went to a location, was taking some pictures, and found some very compelling evidence. And if you want to check that out, it's called Ghosts Actual Paranormal Evidence, and very good episode. And Pectolis Lights was one of our field trips, our Psychopinion field trips, which we had a lot of fun with. Hopefully we'll do a couple more in the future, but check those out and make sure that you comment, like, and all that other shit people do. Now that we've gotten through all of that yet again, and hopefully people are doing the thing, let's start with Jen because she's there. And what do you recommend for the people at home?
I recommend Black Swan. And the reason I recommend that is because we were, kind of talking about like obsession type movies.
Okay.
And she is obsessed with perfection. She's a ballet dancer. She's obsessed with work essentially because she's a ballerina. And she has a lot of like duality, as you see when you watch the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to give too much away.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I've actually never seen it.
It's one of my favorites.
Which is crazy because I really like, it's Natalie Portman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Natalie Portman. Yep. She's always good. Steve, what you got for us, man? I know you've seen something kind of cerebral.
I'm going to hit you guys again with the house that Jack built.
You're just going to keep coming with that?
I didn't do that last week.
Yeah,
I did the Empty Man last week.
Oh yeah, but you talked about
we talked
more
about
cerebral
a little bit.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And I want to bring it up again because it really is a very interesting movie. Main character is Matt Dillon again, which Jake does not like in a horror movie. Up to that point, maybe.
Not a fan.
I think you'd like him in this, but once again, it's a type of movie that has a lot of different things. It has that kind of shock value. It has that where they might have taken it too far in a lot of people's eyes, but there's a lot to it, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. So it's definitely a good watch. It's got some comedy, surprisingly, in it, but very poignant as well. So that's mine.
I like it. I would spoil the shit out of it if I was you, because if people haven't seen it, they might want to see it, and if not, then fuck them. Rob, go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna go off the Valentine's Day theme a little bit here.
Yeah, get it, boy.
I always liked kind of the man-eater type movies, like Species.
That's the first thing I thought of when you said man-eater.
Yeah, it's the quintessential go-to, but I'm not going to recommend that. I'm going to recommend one that's like it, called Splice, which does star Adrian Brody. Don't remember exactly when, maybe like 2010. Could be way off, maybe a little bit later. But it's around the same vein, and it's all about love.
I feel like in all this time I've known you, I've kind of come to the realization that I think you have a man boner for Adrian Brody.
A little bit. He's pretty cool.
I was going to say, you like a lot of Adrian Brody shit, which there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, the guy's a pretty good actor. I just feel like I've heard you say his name a lot.
Well, if you watch Brody Quest, you get that song stuck in your head, and it just stays there forever. Just like Adrian Brody.
Jesus. Okay. Well, I am going to go. What did I do last week? I did I did Leslie Vernon. So this week I'm gonna go with Cold Skin. I think I talked about that maybe a little bit, but it's a really good movie in my opinion. It's really strange. It's kind of unusual, and I think that it's something a little different. And every now and then you want a little something different. I will say it's strange. Like if you comment and you're like, "Hey, that was fucking weird," I'm telling you ahead of time, So don't shoot the messenger. But I think it's a really good movie. So it's basically guys defending a lighthouse against these sea creatures, and there may or may not be some sea creature sex in it. So you might like that shit.
Slimy?
They look like they're they look like they're. I mean, I don't know if they're necessarily slimy. They're definitely like they're ocean creatures, so they definitely look wet.
Yeah.
There's definitely some moistness going on.
Maybe goopy.
I don't know about goopy.
What's the smell like?
I would imagine it'd be rather fishy, if you ask me, because they're sea creatures. But
going back around to STDs, there you go. The fishy smell.
If you want to get STDs, you should probably fuck around with weird creatures from the sea that you don't know, because that's how I think a lot of it happens. Is that people out there that have sex with animals, and that's not okay. I definitely want to say that that's not okay. If you're having sex with animals and you hear this, stop having sex with animals. It's not okay. They can't consent. Right, they can't consent, and it's just fucking gross.
Yeah.
Stop. Okay, so. That's my final words.
And on that note,
and on that note, it was nice to see everybody, and I wish you guys a happy Valentine's Day. And we'll go ahead and pick another quote here, because that's a thing that I'm doing. And here's a good one. It was kind of fun in a necrophile sort of way. Anyway, I'll leave you with that.
Nice.
Good night. Love you all.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great whatever the fuck.